Back here in the Valley and on Capitol Hill, major gaps in regulations are allowing clandestine labs like the one in Reedley to operate. And these pose as a threat to the country. That's the bottom line from a report released today by a congressional committee. The Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party released the 42-page report shortly after holding a hearing about the lab Wednesday. We learned the owner of the lab, Jiabei Zhu of China, had a warrant for his arrest in Canada. This was after he had been slapped with a $330 million judgment for stealing intellectual property from companies in Canada and the U.S. The report says Zhu then entered the U.S. illegally and used a new name, David He. It found He opened labs by simply getting a business license and bought pathogens including Ebola, malaria, SARS, and HIV virtually unchecked.
If a country was threatening us, like China, what better way to create havoc than to be able to spread through private labs all sorts of infectious diseases? I mean, we saw how unprepared we were to deal with the COVID. My gosh.
As we've reported extensively, a code enforcement officer for the city of Reedley discovered the lab's activities late last year. She immediately reached out to the CDC for help, but the report faults the CDC for refusing to help, let alone testing biological material found in refrigerators and freezers.
We need to make sure that the CDC and other federal actors have the tools, the authorities they need to proactively make sure that something like this Reedley situation doesn't occur. And of course, when called upon, that we don't hear from local officials that their assistance wasn't rendered promptly.
We need to produce legislation to change this. We need safeguards on these pathogens. It should not be so freely be able to purchase on the internet. How deadly that could be to the rest of this country.
The report also discovered the lab owner was receiving unexplained payments from banks in China, totaling $1.3 million over a short period of time. It found he was taking the money while also selling counterfeit pregnancy and COVID test kits that came from China, but claimed to be made in America. And it's those misbranded tests that now have him facing federal charges. Jiabei Zhu remains in Fresno County Jail on a federal hold, and he is due in a federal courtroom right here in Fresno tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Monty Torres with Fox 26 News on YouTube. Thank you for checking out our YouTube channel, where we have loads of great content for you to choose from. And while you're here, why not click on the subscribe button right here? That way you can stay in touch with all the latest breaking news, everything news related within the Central Valley. And thank you for watching.